Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And Jacob Weil.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we find ourselves in the midst of Disney's big venture into the world of streaming, having started a war in the process, we thought it would be nice to stay up to date on the ever-growing catalog and rule on what's a must or a bust on Disney Plus. And tonight we are talking about the latest Muppets related content on Disney's streaming service. Disney Plus is gonna love this. It's Muppets Mayhem. I refuse to call it the Muppets Mayhem because I feel like I'm totally just Justin Timberlake in The Social Network in this situation. Drop the the. It's cleaner. Anyways, I'm sorry, that's a side tangent. All right, how y'all doing tonight?
I'm doing all right.
On the right side of the dirt.
Okay. Well, Jacob, I will go ahead and start with you. What did you think of this little 10-episode miniseries we got, or whatever you want to call it, miniseries, stream? I don't know what you call this thing.
Oh, I don't know, maybe a show?
A series? Yeah, sure.
Yep, 10-episode season.
All right. Well, what do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a lot. I mean, it's kind of an interesting thing to take. Like, we all know the Electric Mayhem, but we know them, but do we really, know them? Because they've never been the central focus before. So it's an interesting kind of little experiment to see, like, okay, how could a show like this be pulled off? And for the most part, I enjoyed it. I thought the characters worked really well. That the Electric Mayhem are as good as they ever were. Of course, the great music choices, and of course, bunches of cameos that were well put. So I had a lot of fun with this one.
Right. We have Z and K in the comments here. He says, "Oh God, Adam Goldberg, you've officially redeemed yourself after writing Muppets Wizard of Oz, which is not an easy task." I'm going to go on record and say Muppets Wizard of Oz is overly hated.
It is. It really, really.
I mean, especially after we've gotten shit like Muppets Now. like Muppets Now is so much worse than Muppets Wizard of Oz.
Pre-Muppets Now, do you think Muppets Wizard of Oz was like the most disliked Muppets thing? Do you think?
It might be the most disliked thing, but I've never even really thought it was that bad.
Well, no, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying, like, consensus-wise, do you think it was like the most disliked?
And all of that is better than Muppets from Space.
I was going to say it's either that or Muppets from Space. Yeah,
Muppets from Space is not that bad.
I didn't say it was bad. I just said it's better than.
Again, overly hated, Dragon. That's the question you posed.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Let's just say as far as like Muppet movies go, that's the worst one.
Right. Or the Lady Gaga. I think the Lady Gaga Christmas special. Yeah, that one might take the cake, honestly.
But yeah, like I said, to be fair, like I still love the way. I mean, okay, I won't say I love the Wizard of Oz one. I remember that's like one of the first Muppet things I ever watched. I think, but I mean, I still have fond memories of it, and some of the jokes in there still make me laugh out loud.
Right. So, Dragon, what did you think of the Muppets Mayhem?
Yeah. So I gotta admit, when Muppets Mayhem. Depending on who you ask, if you're talking to my associate here, Muppets Mayhem or the Muppets Mayhem.
I just think it sounds cleaner without the. That's just my 2 cents.
Let me be clear. I don't think you're wrong about that. I think it's kind of silly that you're pulling the Social Network on that, but trash. But I was saying, I think that it's kind of easier to say Muppet. Honestly, Muppet Mayhem versus Muppets Mayhem.
There we go.
Personally, I think that's the sticking point more than the Muppet Mayhem. Anyway, regardless, yeah, I was moderately concerned. I thought it was going to be fine no matter what, but it's the idea of like, hey, we're doing another Muppet show in the short form, but still we're doing a show. And the last time we attempted something kind of like this, and we're still working with kind of like we're working with a network framework. You had, the Muppets for the 2015 Muppets. And again, that show had highs and lows, and it was kind of really putting the question, like, can we go back to our old stomping ground with the Muppets on television? Because every time we've had the Muppets in kind of a series, the game has kind of changed substantially each time. We've never done it really the same way twice.
And to be fair, and now that you mentioned it, the 2015 one might be the more controversial take on the better or worse one.
True. That's the thing. You had highs and lows. It was almost like for a while, it was like a Star Trek effect, where it's like the odd episodes or the even episodes were kind of like some of them were. I forget what the pattern was, but it was almost for a while like odds and evens. Like some were like I think 11 was the Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Was Joseph Gordon-Levitt one?
Give me all your Muppet money.
That's what I'm saying. So I think it was like the odds were good. I'm not sure. I can't remember. The point being, every other one was really good. Anyway, my point is, you have the variety show format, and then we have kind of we have Muppets Tonight, which is I still wish that's still not on Disney Plus, right? We don't have Muppets Tonight there, right?
I don't think so.
That's a shame too, because that one's interesting. I'd like to revisit that to see if that holds up at all or not.
Either way, it's where they introduced Pepe.
Exactly, Pepe and Clifford and and also Bill Barretta's Muppets. I mean, in general, along with Pepe, obviously, but you had like Johnny Fiamma. Anyway, okay. My point is, we keep changing up like how the Muppets are represented in television. Then we did kind of the workplace comedy with Muppets 2015. We tried something more kind of streamy and oddly kind of basically in line with the pandemic with Muppets Now. Still think our friends at JGI are trying to sue Disney for that one. But yes, it's so it's interesting. We did something kind of like this is more kind of a proper like, okay, what if we just did like kind of a 10-episode Disney Plus series proper with the Muppets? And I mean, just the fact that it was centered around Electric Mayhem and not just kind of like a grab bag of our Muppets, given they kind of shot their load on that with Muppets Now. It was an interesting prospect. And honestly, I kind of forgot that Goldberg was involved in this, and then I heard Kevin Smith kind of hype this up and that he was on this show. Then my excitement kind of was sweltering for the show. Like, okay, Kevin Smith's on this, Adam Goldberg's involved. This could work, okay. And the Mayhem is fun. We've never really put him at the center stage like this before, but we kind of are. And end result is, I mean, I was surprised we got all in one shot, so that's already like great news. We don't have to wait week to week on this, and I think that was a good call because this is quite the fun.
Wait, oh my God, hold on. I'm sorry, Dragon. I don't mean to interrupt you. Is that Claude Coringa? Is that you, Claude?
I mean, it looks like him.
Oh my God, Claude, buddy.
Dragon, you literally showed up when we did Phineas and Ferb the other day.
Claude, I accidentally blocked you from the chat like a year ago, and I felt terrible about it. So I am so glad to see you're back. Like, oh, God. Anyways, I'm sorry. Oh, Claude, seriously, bro. So good to see you. I'm so sorry that I swear to God, I accidentally blocked you, and I felt terrible about it for like a whole year.
I think the better question is, Claude, why didn't you, like, I tried reaching out to you too. Why didn't you respond to Mike?
Well, whatever. I'm just glad he's back, man. Oh, God, that literally made my day. Anyways.
Question, why am I getting slighted? That's my question.
All right.
Anyway, so glad you're not dead, Claude. Meanwhile, back trying to remember my point was. Oh, yes. So I was hyped for it. Saw it. We got all one shot, which was refreshing. And, I thought this was quite fun. Again, I think the right creatives were here. I mean, I got to be honest. Well, I'm going back to the Jim Henson stuff, especially kind of like the stuff that was done after Henson's passing. Bill Barretta really stepped up. Bill Barretta, no one's given Bill Barretta enough credit for what he's been doing with the Muppets. And, he's been doing a lot of stuff, I think, kind of across the board, particularly with Brian Henson. And this is, he was very, if I recall, Bill Barretta's main introduction was like he was around for Dinosaurs as kind of like getting kind of undercredited roles. Like, he was the body, kind of more of a bodywork puppet with Earl and many others, I imagine. And so he's had quite the staple in the Muppets in kind of the post Henson era, and I think this is a real good showcase for him, especially as Dr. Teeth and company. And he's a strong creative thing. I think he's been a good representation of the Henson brand, and I think we kind of represented the best of it, and we applied Adam Goldberg's his philosophy of television, which is the way he did the Goldbergs is in a sense what he did here, in which you have the laughs, but in the third act you bring out the heart. And I think we did that, and that formula pairs very well with the Muppets. So I was very impressed with this. There are a couple things I questioned, but aside from it, I was very touched by this. I thought it was really good.
And to continue the point with Bill, it's like, to use a point that was used in the show numerous times, you could say he's pretty much become one of the new frontmen.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Z and K says Bill's been one of the best things overall to come out of Jim's death. I would definitely agree.
I mean, technically, he did join after Jim Henson's death, but I think, and of course, nobody can ever replace Jim Henson. But it seems
of course.
But it seems like he's there to help fill the void a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And then Claude Karinga says, I find this perfect timing after Adam's other series, The Goldbergs, has ended.
Yeah.
All right. So my thoughts. I like this show a lot. I don't know if I'm as glowing about it as you guys are. I will say this much. I think episodes 5, 6, and 7, that's the sweet spot right there. That is the sweet spot. That run of episodes just like chef's kiss. They literally just keep getting better and better.
Swedish chef's kiss.
I really like this series overall. It's a very interesting, like, it's great that we're really focusing on the mayhem, like really developing these characters. It really felt good to really get a lot of layers to them. Insert Shrek joke here. It's almost kind of interesting. Like, part of me thinks this might be like almost like sort of a test to see how people respond to these characters, because Disney's definitely eyeing Rock and Roller Coaster, and I would love to see the Electric Mayhem take over that ride. Overall, I will say I'm not like exactly opposed to the human side of things in this show, but I'm not overly thrilled with it either. I'm never a big fan of a love triangle. I didn't really care for the love triangle here. It's not even that I really dislike Lily Singh. I honestly kind of feel like I'm a little bit indifferent towards her. I know she's one of those people that can rub people the wrong way. I just don't have strong opinions about her either way. The characters are fine, the human characters. I just don't necessarily think they leap off the screen at all. I feel like, they don't leap off the screen in the same way that the human characters of the James Bobbin Muppet movies did, for example, just to kind of use a comparison. But overall, I think this is a very solid series. I definitely think it peaks with episode 7. And then, frankly, episode 8 is the only episode, the Minecraft episode, where I was just like, ooh, this is a stumble, man. I don't really like how we're writing this. Oddly enough, it's not even the fact that the Muppets are on social media, because episode 9 is all about the Muppets on social media, and I think that was written well. I don't know. It must have been like a writing thing for episode 8. I'm curious if you guys kind of had that as well. Okay, ZNK says the human cast isn't the worst, but it's not like they didn't really overtake the focus like the 2011 film. I like Moog, though. He's very Walter-like. Yeah, maybe a little too Walter-like. I felt like he was just kind of that. I don't know. And my argument for the 2011 movie has always been in regards to Jason and Amy. You said, sorry, Jason and Amy. I've always had the opinion the Muppets 2011 isn't necessarily a Muppets movie so much as it's a film about the Muppets. Dragon, it's kind of like our little like Spielberg, like it's a Spielberg film or it's a film directed by Steven Spielberg, if that makes sense.
Well, sure.
Still a damn good movie, though.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's a great movie, Jacob. It's probably my favorite Muppets movie. It's either that or Great Muppet Caper. It's kind of like a toss-up between those two. But anyway, so yeah, I like this series a lot. I don't love it. I do love certain episodes, though. I think episodes 6 and 7 in particular, just fantastic Muppets content. Everything else is very good. Like I said, I just kind of feel like it peaks with those 2 episodes. All right. Okay, so guys, let's see. Dragon, do you have any background on this, or we're gonna just dive right in?
Let's just dive right in, Tiki.
Okay, it's been a while since we've done one of these for Plus&Us, so I apologize. Track 1. Can you picture that?
Can you picture that?
So first of all, I have a minor nitpick, which is that, like, it kind of bugs me that they sort of gave up on the whole, like, having the actual name of the episode be a song in the episode after 2 episodes.
Yeah, I was liking that too, and I was like, oh, that's kind of a missed opportunity.
Yeah. Oh well.
But then again, it's a question of like, well, here's the thing: they had like 12 songs on the album, right? So I guess in theory they could have done that.
Uh huh.
It doesn't break the series though.
True.
It could have gotten a little bit repetitive if every episode had like an extended musical number. That's probably my thought.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, so what do y'all think? Just to jump in.
So, yeah, episode 1's a pretty good setup. You know, we meet Nora. She, Nora. Meet Nora, and you know, she works at Waxtown Records, and we meet a new character. We meet her boss,
Oh my
Penny.
god.
How? Okay, so this is like the good omen that opened the show for me. When we saw Penny, it was like, okay, we're in Jim Henson world right now. Really
Totally.
great. We got great puppet design here. My favorite thing about I love Penny's eye. That's my favorite thing about her design. I love how she has like the squinty kind of felt eyes on top of the giant glasses. Like, oh my god, that's perfect.
She just absolutely fits into this world like a glove. It feels like she's always been a part of the Electric Mayhem. It's awesome.
I mean, especially when they reveal more about her history with the band.
Right,
Oh, yeah,
right. Fucking being the Yoko Ono. We'll get there.
We'll definitely get there. Oh god, if Yoko Ono could knit sweaters, but we'll get there.
Oh my god.
So
Like, all right.
okay. So let's see. So Nora here says she's so the idea is you know, she's worked long and hard at this label, and she does not she doesn't want to like have it to be thrown away. And it's the big challenge of the show is like we're updating the Electric Mayhem with roughly is 50 years old. So it's kind of a nice meta kind of call out for like, you know, it's like we're modernizing the Muppets, and the last time we did that, it kind of like, you know, it was Muppets now. Mm-hmm. So now we're you know, we're kind of addressing in the long form and kind of an arc here. Like, is it a good thing to modernize our Muppets as a way of bringing them back? And we're doing this through the Electric Mayhem, which is very tied to being a 70s band. That's a cool idea.
You know what's really kind of sad?
What?
I feel like the state of modern music has changed so much that even the idea of doing an album is like borderline outdated.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting. Yeah.
Which I hate that, by the way. I'm a big album guy when it comes to music, but I digress.
Which, to be fair, perfectly fits in with the original nature of the Mayhem.
Totally.
Speaking of which, the Mayhem, the longest running tour, tour in history, apparently, because
this is great.
Because they've never officially really gone on tour, so by that logic, they've never really stopped going on tour. So,
and that leads to an interesting loophole too.
Is the fact that they essentially owe Penny an album, so whether she likes it or not, the Mayhem is kind of like Nora's ticket to like, you know, like saving the label.
Mm.
So let's see.
Less talking, more shredding.
So how do we feel about? I feel to me Nora is kind of the make or break in terms of our the human, as Tiki kind of alluded to with the whole love triangle thing. You know, Nora is kind of like. Is kind of the yay or nay for the show in terms of like if you like Nora, the band likes Nora, so we should like Nora too. And if not, then we're kind of in trouble for 10 episodes. And
yeah, I don't dislike Nora at all, but I don't really strongly like her either. I feel very indifferent about the character, if I'm being totally honest.
I like how Nora interacts with the Mayhem, but I don't know how much of that is her, like me liking the performer, and how much
right
her role in terms of like, okay, this is a good idea. The Mayhem have, I mean, not. I guess technically she's kind of the manager, like she's managing them in the tour and everything. So the point being, we have someone who is overseeing the Electric Mayhem, and she's very kind of like all plan happy and everything. She's very kind of atypical, like not atypical. She's kind of type A personality, and the Mayhem are very much the opposite. So pairing these two together is a good idea, and of course having Animal, as we've established through many Muppet things, Animal's quite the ladies. But He is quite the ladies' Muppet, and
Oh my God.
we kind of go in a kind of a charming way with them, which Animal is not. We're not. It's I don't know how much of this is just kind of the climb we're in today, or how much of this is just like let's have like a natural character thing. Your Animal initially is probably going Gaga for not Lady Gaga. That's later. She's going Gaga for it. And he and over time it's like there's more of like a kind of a protectiveness over like a Nora, like I like this Nora person, where there's a destiny kinship sort of thing going on here.
Well, you know what? I do like the fact that Animal's fixation on her is what ultimately kind of saves the day in the end. I think that was a smart goal.
And he's kind of like her guard dog.
Yeah, like we turned kind of like what could have been a one-note gag, and we turned to kind of a charming runner that paid off tremendously and saved the day.
So I will throw a bone Nora's way in the direction of I actually really like Hannah. Yeah. Like I like her more than I like Nora, actually. And I don't know if that's a hot take.
I mean Hannah's there. We spend more time with Nora though, but
I'm just saying Hannah's just a more fun personality, I guess.
Yeah, right. I could see that.
Also, I like the family stuff that we're doing with the two sisters. I just kind of feel like I kind of feel like they sort of did not commit as much as they should have with how emotional they were trying to go with that plot line.
I agree. It felt like we were trying to say something, but ultimately had kind of a zero payoff. The only payoff is that, okay, we have the song at the end of the first episode, and there's a photo album. That's all we got.
Right. Like I was kind of expecting there to be more of a reveal of, like the mother not being in the picture for some reason, or for some dramatic reason or something like that. I don't know.
Nope. Okay, let's see. So some fun stuff that we get here. Also, we should mention this. This young man, Taj Mowry, Wade from Kim Possible.
Oh yeah!
Oh, nice. What do you know?
Also, he was in other stuff too. He was in Boy Meets World, and there was he's a kid in some. Oh yeah, he was on Full House. He was Michelle's little friend from Full House. Yeah.
He's definitely come a long way.
Yeah, he's all grown up. He's bumping elbows with the Muppets. Good for him.
Can't go, and not to mention all the celebrity cameos.
I know. Oh yeah, we have
Moog is definitely like the best human character. Unfortunately, like I said, I just kind of feel like as the series goes on, he does get a little bit bogged down with the love triangle. But like Dragon, I'm kind of thinking that's sort of like an anti what you're having with like Nora and the Mayhem, where it's like I'm not sure if my distaste for that is just my distaste for love triangles in general. Because I really don't like love triangles.
Here's the thing. Look, I don't necessarily mind love triangles if they're handled well. But my issue here is that I like Moog, but here's the thing. I like Moog as a character, but by the same token, I was really impressed that we it's not a 1-for-1 with this comparison, but we somewhat pulled a Hamlin with JJ.
A little bit.
In that JJ
that's a pull, Dragon. That is a pull.
I think you mean a stretch, but yeah, it is.
You make him somewhat likable. I'll give you that.
My point is that we have like a whole awesome scene in which Animal is like right there is like kind of the deciding factor. Which is like good, bad. It's like okay, this guy, he's not really bad like we thought he was, but we're not sure about him.
I'm kind of glad they didn't make JJ actually a bad guy.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the refreshing thing, and then we get some backstories like actually there might be this guy might not be bad for her. And that's what's conflicting. It's like not so much a love triangle, it's the fact that I like Moog, but honestly I don't really see much romance between him and Nora, and that's kind of
I agree there. I did not feel I definitely felt like friendship chemistry. I did not feel romantic chemistry.
That's the thing, and I mean I part of me is rooting for Moog, but it's like Moog, I don't think it's in the cards, buddy. I don't think it's there for you.
And like I said,
mean, Animal's rooting for him, so by proxy, I am rooting for Moog. But I think this is a manipulation of.
Hannah is also definitely rooting for him.
That's a thing too.
And to be fair,
anyways, we'll talk more about the love triangle.
Okay, more on that later.
And to be fair, nothing really happens between them anyway.
That's the problem with the love triangle is that we're teeing that up and nothing happens.
Well, we might be getting a season 2.
I hope so, but Well, promises.
I don't know if we're gonna get a season 2 of this.
Well, it leaves it open-ended either way.
Right now, Disney's shredding documents.
Exactly.
Like, remember, not everything needs explicit closure. Sometimes it's good to have some things open-ended.
Sure.
Anyway, so let's see. So, so this is great. I think my favorite bit of this first episode goes without saying, but it was just this is a nostalgic bit for me. Just they go to the shack, or at least what they think is the shack, and actually it's kind of their new John Ratzenberger with Danny Trejo.
Yes, he is kind of the John Ratzenberger.
Well, I'm trying to remember if he popped up in both James Bob and Muppet movies. If he did, he's the new John.
Hold on, I actually know the background for this one. Like in the first one, he did film a cameo, but it was cut from the final version. But then he actually, but then he did play like more of a major character, like minor character in Most Wanted.
He was playing himself in Most Wanted, right?
Well, he was playing a prisoner named Danny Trejo.
Like I'm saying, like his role in Most Wanted might be one of the most like major roles for a celebrity who's essentially just playing themselves.
A singer, a dancer, and a murderer.
And then he was on. He's definitely Muppets Now, making tacos. I think.
Yes, he was on Muppets Now.
Yeah, that was a good episode. Though. I had Danny Trejo in it.
I didn't even remember that he was in that.
Yeah.
I don't really either. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, he was flirting with the turkey.
I'm sure you could tell like how much I cared about making thumbnails for that, considering I just reused the poster for each one of them.
I respect that.
Anyway.
Okay. To be fair, I used the poster here, but this is also a single thing instead of just 6 weeks.
And honestly, Dragon, you mentioned it was nice getting this all at once, but like of the two, wouldn't it be nicer to get this one as like a weekly recap and then Muppets Now just shit it all out at once?
I concur that it had this been released week to week, it would have at least, given the fact that we end on somewhat of like each episode. As we go through, we'll be able to maybe note, but I think this one has more cliffhangers to keep you coming back than Muppets Now. Obviously.
I mean, this episode definitely ends on a cliffhanger.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So by that logic, you're not wrong, Tiki. This one we probably would have got more mileage, but then again, who has 10 weeks? Sometimes you just want to get it all, you know?
Yeah, I feel you.
All right. Anyway, so we go to the shack, and of course they misidentify Danny Trejo's house initially as the shack. But the point being, when we reach this destination, we do a little reprise of "Can You Picture That?" And my favorite bit, we do that paint shot from "Can You Picture That?" When I saw that paint shot, I lost it. Like, oh my god, they did the paint shot! He's pouring it. It's like a little windshield, but it looks great.
I mean, say what you will about the rest of or the writing stuff. It's like, but at least you can tell the creators cared about their product.
Nothing makes me geek out more than references to the Muppet movie. I gotta be honest. It's like, oh god, there it is.
I mean, and there's quite a few of them here, especially regarding "Can You Picture That?" How they wrote the song.
Oh yeah. All right, let's see. So, okay, so then we reveal Penny and Dr. Teeth have a romantic history, and he's going out with those shemaggies. Shemaggies.
And of course, her love of compression socks.
Oh my god.
That's how they win her over. That's how they win her over.
Yep.
Apparently, Penny's got a foot thing, so.
Oh, yeah.
Correction, Dragon. Quentin Tarantino was in Muppets Wizard of Oz.
Goldberg strikes again.
Yep, he was.
All right. Okay. So is that it for this episode? I think so.
They have to have a little faith number at the end, which apparently is a song her father sang. Then we have the cliffhanger that technically does not pay off.
Well, I mean, technically they reveal what happens in the next episode.
Yeah, because they didn't have the budget for it.
I'm also going to give a little bit of some praise for the structure, because I really love how we have post-credit Zoot gags.
Yeah.
That was delightful. But I'm going to give a little bit of criticism here for the structure, because I don't think the cold opens of the episodes are bad per se. but it feels like they rarely actually tie in that well with the actual episode or even like the cliffhanger of the last episode in certain cases.
My favorite one of those, I forget the actual episode, is like when they're talking about those what songs they can sing. Like, hey, those are all songs we can all sing for free in our van.
Right.
And then it cuts to the main song.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, so I agree with you, Tiki, that I like the here's the thing, I like the cold opens, but only one of those in particular bothers me because you always make the argument that at least we are kind of chiming in with something, and then it's like, hey, we had a very like someone was on the other side of that door, and then randomly it's nighttime now.
Okay, yeah, but to be fair, with the other side of the door thing, at least they make a gag out of that.
Yeah, it's they made a gag, but I'm saying like we had a scene that was a complete disparate from that, and then we went back to that scene. Okay. Number 2.
I literally can't think of this song without thinking of the Trolls movie.
Really?
Yeah, it's the big crescendo of the whole damn plot.
All right, anyway.
Okay.
So let's see. So we have the we have the gift montage at the top here, where let's see, the animal is giving her affectionate gifts, and we have like the mixtape, and like fork and ladle, peacock, and
the fork should have been the giant fork in the road from the Muppet movie.
We don't get that, but we do get the baseball diamond. I lost it at the baseball.
Yeah, that was good. That was
good. Like, where did Animal get the diamonds?
Well, they were throwing around at the end of Great Muppet Caper.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I guess.
I mean, that's not the only Muppet Caper reference in this show.
I still love it in Great Muppet Caper with the baseball diamond. It's not just like a fancy name for a diamond. It's an actual baseball-shaped diamond and is in a baseball glove. And it's like it's display case. That's wonderful. Anyway, okay, so.
I love that. I love Muppet Caper.
Let's take a whole tangent talk about the Great Muppet Caper, then we'll get back.
Oh God!
Okay, let's just do that. Okay, so we start with a balloon. No, keep going.
Oh God!
Wait, are we gonna talk about? Are we gonna recap the whole movie here?
Yes, we're gonna recap the whole movie. So we have Animal and like the MGM lion thing. He takes a bite out of it, and then we see our 3 heroes in this giant. Okay, sorry, go
on. Z and K points out Doc Hopper still exists in the background for some reason. Dare I say that's a subtle jab at Matt Vogel? Because, like, honestly, I kind of low-key feel like this whole series got greenlit because they didn't want to do anything else with Kermit because of the backlash. I think that's probably a tinfoil hat kind of thing, but I don't know. You definitely felt the lack of Kermit.
Is it official that people have not been digging? I know
Yes, Dragon. Yes, very much so.
Okay, so it's not just
it is definitely not just us.
I just want to make sure. Okay.
Yeah, that's a major tinfoil hat. Like,
oh no, Jacob, I totally, I'm aware for sure.
I mean, I got to admit, when this was happening, a part of me did wonder, are we going to get other Muppet cameos? And we did, but not Kermit the Frog. And I was wondering if you're going to get Kermit the Frog.
I mean, honestly, I don't think we needed Kermit in the show.
No, we didn't.
I really don't think so.
We didn't need them, but it still was a question of like, well, there's like a breadth, a wide range of characters you could bring in.
I kind of feel like the only character that didn't pop up that would have been nice to see out of like the main lineup would have been Piggy.
I mean, possibly.
Just because, the social, there's like an element of social media, like she could have popped up to help them with their social media image or something. I don't know.
I mean, I think they basically agreed like early on, like that they were going to include any of those main Muppets.
That's fair. And like the one like really major, like mainline Muppets cameo we do get is fucking perfect. So.
Yeah.
All right.
I think they're more focused on creating, like, obviously using the Mayhem and then creating other original Muppet characters.
Totally. So this is not one of my favorite episodes. I just kind of think that the whole plot line with Janice being allergic to lying is just, I don't know. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either.
I mean, it makes for an interesting conceit, I guess.
I guess I just don't really like... It kind of feels like we're just kind of spinning our wheels with the Nora character development a little bit. Dragon,
Honestly,
how do you feel about that?
well, the problem with Nora is this. Nora, and we have to drag this out, unfortunately, with the 10 episodes. I'm not saying we necessarily have too many episodes, but with Nora, we know that the end point of her whole thing is going to be she modernized the Mayhem and kind of like went against who they were, and we have to spend a couple episodes of her learning a similar lesson over and over again. That's the issue. The issue is like, hey, I should be honest with the Mayhem. I should embrace their ways, and then it's going to I don't know. So we kind of have the morals of these episodes in the front half are a little kind of no brainer. They're a little bit
Right.
Nora, why you already got him the gig? You don't really need to lie to him anymore, and just take charge. I don't know. We have to have some growth, but then with the fact that we have like a number of episodes towards the back half that are like, hey, I've modernized the Mayhem. This is a bad thing, and then okay, yeah, this is still a bad thing, and then okay, we're gonna fix everything. It's kind of
I definitely feel like this series is kind of spinning its wheels a little bit in these early episodes. Like honestly, up until episode 5. Episode 5 is when the series really starts to get going, I think.
Yeah. It just feels like we have a couple episodes in which it's like Nora just has to hey, watch the old Mayhem tapes, listen to the poor guy's demo, okay?
Right.
It's like,
oh god, that was fucking frustrating, dude.
So that's especially given the payoff there. It's like, hey, get to know the Mayhem, maybe.
But you know what? In Nora's defense, I feel like Moog should have sold his mixtape actually being
that is true.
Mayhem remixes. Like I feel like he should have led with that.
That's that's a fair point. Anyway, so I like the comedy of Janice being allergic to lies. The fact that she's on her deathbed practically because Nora won't just cop to her.
I will say that I think Janice is probably one of the more consistent. They're all pretty consistent, but Janice definitely does get pretty consistent.
Let's give Janice major props for this show. Is that because we had an excuse to actually. For a couple of things, we have props for the show for here. Like we developed, each member of the Electric Mayhem now. It's not just like, for example, we've seen Janice. Janice's main distinction in the Muppets has always been, it's the other girl Muppet.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the most of we ever gave her is okay. Sam Eagle may or may not have a crush on her.
Oh my god, that's adorable.
And then, so we've done that, and that's all the development we really have given Janice before, and we've now breached into there's a lot more layers to Janice. Like Janice, a long lost sister and stuff we'll get into, and we have the fact Janice is kind of likes bringing people together and helping people out. On the flip side, I don't think anyone knew about Lips. I don't even think Lips was Lips ever always a member of the Electric Man, or we just add him in, or do we kind of take him out after?
Jacob, do you know?
I'm honestly not sure. It's like.
I'm not. I don't think he was. I don't think he was created just for this show, but he's definitely not been a mainline member from the beginning.
I think what happened was Lips is he's in the conductor's pit in the Muppet Show, and
makes sense. Yeah,
in the movies and everything, Lips is not there unless we have a big crowd shot. Band, we extra band members or something.
But honestly, Lips kind of he's one of those. It's one of those things where he kind of steals the whole show.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to Wikipedia, he joined the Electric Mayhem in the final season of the Muppet Show.
There you go.
Z&K says Lips has always been a blank slate made for the Muppet Show's 5th season, so Steve could have a band member.
There you go.
All right.
Okay.
Also, a couple more comments from Z&K. He says, somehow I'm just picturing a side of this series going on, a side series going on at the same time with Hopper's son trying to revive the family business and Kermit attempting to shut it down. Again. Well, I guess we know where all the mainline Muppets were this whole time.
Yep.
God. Who would be the equivalent to Orson Welles in that scenario?
Oh, God. Well...
Gilbert?
Well,
Feige, maybe?
Feige?
Yeah, well, actually, you think it'd be Bob Iger?
Maybe Iger.
I don't know. He technically
what if it was Christopher Cousins playing Bob Iger?
Well, that's of course how they
Just for us. That's
the only way that. Okay, well, Z&K actually has a better suggestion. You're like Maurice LaMarche. Yeah, sure.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
That'd work. But here's the thing: do you make it a descendant of Orson Welles, or do you make it his cousin? What do you think?
I don't know.
Lord Lou Gray? Do you Anyway. Okay. It'd be kind of cute. What if it was Brian Henson?
Yeah, I can see that.
That'd be kind of cute. Okay. So, also, we got to talk about Darren the goat.
Darren!
Darren.
I love Darren.
I love that Nora just like goes along with it. Okay, come on, give me the goat. Come on.
And Hannah's like, "Are we gonna talk about the goat? His name is Darren, and he's not nice."
Weirdly enough, Yellow Jackets this week also featured a plot line of a character having to care for a goat.
Yellow Jacket season's still going on?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, then we had a lot of witty lines throughout this show, and one of them was, "Thank goodness after like learning about the lies and everything. Thank goodness we still have used car salesmen and politicians."
Easy low hanging fruit joke, but still works.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's it for this episode.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, episode 3. Exile on Main Street. I gotta admit, I love this album. This is a fucking killer Rolling Stones album. And I was definitely disappointed that they didn't do the song.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, but the episode was great.
It was good. I have one nitpick about it. My only nitpick with it is I kind of feel like they did the whole like Animal leaving the band thing a little early.
Admittedly, yes, but I found that to be kind of a fun little kind of a surprise. You know, like we're kind of like kind of a subversion. You imagine that to be the penultimate thing, which we did an unconventional. We think, but we did that in an unconventional way for the penultimate.
I actually knew there was going to be a Let It Be episode, so I kind of imagined it was going to happen there.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun that we yes.
And to be fair, you got to admit the payout to this is a great one.
Yeah,
it's good. Yeah.
I don't know. So I thought it was kind of a nice little, we kind of did this a lot earlier than I think anyone was expecting. It was over something really dumb, like someone pushed a button, so Animal misheard him. So of course we have Animal playing with Simon, which is kind of fun. Adam Goldberg obviously has an obsession with the '80s, so it makes sense that we would have like a little Simon gag in there, and we have like Zoot's camera and everything.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I fucking love Zoot as a photographer. Like, I'm not sure if that was ever established before this, but it's such an adorable character trait for him.
In fact, I like the detail. It pays off later. It literally pays off later. But yeah,
right.
On the bus, little Polaroids on the bus, which is a nice little detail.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real question. If we go into the Electric Mayhem, do we see in the old movies? Do we see a bunch of photos taped to the roof? And that'll solve your camera question.
All right.
Anyway, so the Mayhem visit Zed to record a modern song, done where it's like.
Is this guy actually like a guy? This man actually cameos is that I feel very out of touch with like the music side of things.
To my understanding, majority of
he's a DJ, record producer, and songwriter.
Okay.
His name is actually Zed, though, right?
Whenever I hear Zed, I just think of fucking Power Rangers, dude.
When I think of Zed, I think of Men in Black.
Yeah, me.
Oh, that's fair. That's totally fair.
But
I think all my Zeds are very, very gruff Zeds. They got that Zed, and then I have the rapist Zed from Pulp Fiction. So that's
but Zed's real name is Anton Saslavsky.
There you go.
He's Russian-born German.
Ooh, okay. I like this comment from Z&K. It says, Zoot's camera feels like a little commentary on how Dave's been there the longest, so of course he has the most memories out of everything regarding the band.
Maybe I'm reading this too.
I like the way Z&K...
I really do like that, yeah. And of course I have a little, just the tiniest bit of skin in the game when it comes to goals, because I have met the man, so...
Yeah.
All right. Humble brag.
I almost met Steve Whitmire at GalaxyCon.
Nice.
Almost. I didn't go to him, though.
Mm-hmm. All right. Met Dave Goals and Gonzo made fun of you.
Yeah, he did. He very much did.
You had to bring up his love life.
Yeah, twice in a row, Jacob. Two Q&A sessions in a row. I asked about the Camilla thing.
Yep. All right, so let's see. So, anyway, the misunderstanding. Animal thinks that he's easily replaced, so he storms off. He just walks through the glass.
Is it going? How's it going? Bad. And then.
So Believe it or not, Ben Schwartz is in this playing Gus, and he was good.
I was like, when I was watching that, I was like, "Oh, that's Ben Schwartz. Dragon isn't going to like this."
So here's
Right,
we
did
have
you know
like
that
we
Ben
have,
Schwartz pops up in Renfield?
he does.
He's like the main villain.
Oh. Is he any good? Because here's the thing. This is like season 1 of DuckTales. Ben Schwartz. This is good Ben Schwartz. This is well written Ben Schwartz. I can get behind.
2 and 3 were also good Ben Schwartz.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about with Ben Schwartz not being good at DuckTales after season 1.
What?
I said I don't know what you're talking about Ben Schwartz not being good in DuckTales past season 1. He was always good.
I don't know about. I mean, it's mostly the writing on his character. I don't know.
Well, that's not the fault of him, though.
Well,
anyways, I digress.
All I'm saying is that there seems to be when the writing's not there, Ben Schwartz does not really deliver in many things that I've seen him, and mainly the worst thing I've ever seen him in so far was Space Force. Space Force, he plays a character that either is playing this terrible character too well, or it's just, I don't know. I've seen a couple Ben Schwartz things where he's kind of played this guy. It's like, I don't like this guy.
It's like, well, to be fair, there's a lot of things that can be said about Space Force.
Have you watched it?
Yes.
Didn't care for it.
No.
Dragon, to be honest with you, I still think you're a little bit biased because I still think the Earth to Ned thing kind of swayed you a little bit.
I think it hilariously put a spin on it.
But like I said, when I was watching this, when I really, hey, that's Ben Schwartz. Dragon's not going to like this one.
Look, when I saw him pop up, I was feeling dread in the room. I was like,
okay. Can we not?
Well,
I'm
getting to the praise of Schwartz, man.
All right.
Let the Schwartz be with you. Do you mind?
Oh God.
Anyway, yeah. So the Schwartz works here. He actually did I thought it was really good. We had like animal job hunting, and this guy just this poor beleaguered guy just trying to get him these jobs. And I love animals blindly agreeing at first. Like, you're just gonna blindly agree with everything, right? This is answer my scale 1 to 10. 6. 7, 8. Okay, we're not counting.
It's like, are you agreeing with everything? Yeah. Am I handsome? No.
So that's what I'm saying. Like the banter and the comedy, that's a good scene right there. That's funny. Anyway, so then we have he goes from janitor to reception to Benihana's hibachi chef.
I was like, well, remember the other one was like, have you ever considered drumming a rock and roll band? No.
He's about to attack Ben Schwartz.
Also, I like how the Benihana thing is technically a setup.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's the chosen one.
James Holmes.
Oh my God, that was great. I will admit that was a really fun gag.
I forget if James Holmes 90 or not yet. I think he might. He's getting up there.
It's like he goes from fucking everything everywhere all at once to that. And I love that trajectory.
Yeah. James Holmes has been over 100 things. He's been in these. This guy's been around for a long time. He's done a lot of films, and it's just the guy's game for anything. He's awesome.
I mean, honestly, there's a couple people that pop up in this who are like lifelong. Like, why the hell have they not collaborated with the Muppets yet?
He's 94 years old.
Yep.
Oh wow.
There you go.
All right.
Let's see. So the band, they're doing their little kind of like snippet, kind of like not DJ thing, but essentially they do all these audio clips and it gets turned to a song. Anyway, they're doing more music for Zed here, and then Sophia, they're feeling bummed out because Animal's not there, and then they have Sophia Carson roll by, and
again, I'm literally just like Jaimon Hansu at the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy. Just like,
yeah. Anyway, so Sophia Carson, she gets along with him famously, and the Electric Mayhem are a nice bunch of Muppets here. It's like, you know what? Keep it. It's yours. It's like, wait, really?
Making Mayhem.
She's the Making Mayhem song. Literally, it's the fact she's saying Making Mayhem in the song. It's like, wow, she just literally took that song and didn't change it at all.
Right.
All right, so let's see. So then we have this again. So the fact the fact that Nora is crazily just trying to get them to work and not get sidetracked and to finally get a song, and it's like, nope, just gave it to them like royalty free and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So then in the van, we have this great scene. I love the way Bill Beretta plays Dr. Teeth. Now, we got a lot of Dr. Teeth. One episode in particular, which we'll get to.
Oh, yeah, Bill Beretta absolutely crushes it as Dr.
I don't think animals coming back.
I don't think animals coming back. And then Sergeant Pepper's just like, what do you mean, man, was not coming back?
I laughed so hard when Bill Beretta said, "I don't think it was coming."
The puppetry on him too, kind of like the nervous, like looking back and forth and kind of holding it in.
I know this has been there for a while, but the half glass, I just kind of noticed like they were half glasses on Dr.
I love how expressive the glasses are.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah. It's like they really don't make any sense when you think about them, except from like kind of being like we kind of found a way to give them eyelids. That's kind of the only
right.
That's
exactly.
kind of the puppet cheat. There's like, okay, so that he has eyelids.
Yeah, they're almost like upside down glasses.
Yeah. So big reveal here. Again, this is where Adam Goldberg's working his magic. The whole like we bring the heart into the third act here. Floyd, who's always been kind of Animal's caretaker throughout the Muppets, he's kind of his non-biological.
You had to do it.
But he is.
He is. It's very accurate.
He's his non-biological Muppet father.
So I love this development. I just kind of wish we would have gotten a little bit more of it.
What do you mean more? We got like a whole little adorable montage of it.
I don't know. I kind of feel like
we
could have had a couple more flashbacks. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's like he was left behind on Floyd's doorstep.
Keep. That is funny.
And then we pay it off real nice with Nora. She got kicked out by her sister for all of her, getting into a fight with her and like keep. But that pays off. Oh man, Animal has actual sincere feelings for this Nora character. Isn't that nice?
And well, at least hints at their kind of connection in a way. Like someone for him to protect.
Yeah, so he gets to be Floyd to Nora. Nora is the animal after all. All right, that brings us to 4.
The times they are a changing.
Another song I would have loved to see the Electric Mayhem actually cover. Just saying.
Anyway, so this is Jake. This is the one where you get like the music royalties in the car gag. Here we have like go on.
Like they're naming like all the songs that they could sing. Like, yeah, those are all songs that we could definitely sing for free in our van.
And we have like there's some would be expensive. What the heck? Let's do Led Zeppelin "Stairway to Heaven."
A 10-minute rendition of Led Zeppelin.
Isn't it 12 minutes?
No, it's 7 minutes. I think you're thinking of Freebird.
Oh, okay.
Stairway.
Pretty sure it's like 7 minutes, Jacob.
Well, we don't need to look it up, all right? It's just a long song.
I'm honestly a little bit insulted that you don't think I know my Zeppelin.
I'm confirming it's technically 8 minutes.
Okay, 7, 8. All right.
The point being, it's longer than 3 minutes. Okay.
I was confirming for myself. I wasn't.
All right.
Anyway, so let's see. So
I'm not gonna lie. I think this episode, like, I don't dislike this episode. Like, I dislike episode 8. I do think, in the grand scheme of things, it feels a little bit superfluous. Honestly, I feel like the plot lines are a little bit repetitive. Like, the Hannah and her sister fighting stuff, I feel like they kind of like go over that a little bit
we had
too much
payoff though, which was nice.
And then also just like Nora's still just like clashing about the style of the Electric Mayhem, and it's like, okay, like 4 episodes in, what you think that at this point it would stick that they're like a classic rock group and you can't like modernize them? I don't know.
I mean,
at the very least, you think she, like, after episode 1, she would have looked into the Electric Mayhem, given that she's going out of her way to manage them.
Well, to be fair, modern rock or classic rock can be modified in a lot of different ways. So
but it is a challenge,
no doubt, for sure.
That's the show.
But of course, we miss out on the fact that like they discovered at the end of last episode, they discovered a whole recording studio underneath their floor.
Not just an entire recording studio. They discovered Cheech and Chong.
So I gotta be honest with you, delightful cameo. I don't really think they do anything.
Well, that's the point.
I know it's the point. They're literally just there.
They were waiting roughly, I guess roughly 50 years.
I'm just saying, like, compared to a couple of the other cameos that we get that feel a lot more fleshed out.
They're waiting 50 years for a pizza, man.
40 years.
Oh, sorry, 40. Well, they said the 80s happened. Does that imply they were there at the 70s, or does that mean they were there at the 80s waiting?
What I thought was like they were there. They've been waiting since the 80s, but the 80s happened. And
That's what I said. The 80s happened, so I don't know if that means they were there like in 79, for example. But the point being, they were there for decades, minimum 40. Yes.
Either way, that would still be 40 years.
Sure.
Also, humble brag, I have also met Cheech Marin.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Well,
that
list of all the
interaction
people.
was not as exciting as the Dave Goals one. I'll say it right now.
Okay, let's just take a minute. Okay, so I've met Bruce Campbell.
Oh, God.
I've met Malcolm McDowell. I've met. All right.
You've met Kevin Smith, right?
I almost met Kevin Smith.
Oh,
I was in the same room as Kevin Smith. I walked up to the microphone.
There you
go. I also almost met Kevin Smith.
I was about to speak into the microphone and say words to the man, but then the panel ended.
I have a book with Kevin Smith's autograph in it.
Okay,
that I did not obtain myself.
Anyway,
but anyway, like, yeah, where's the pizza, guys? like they were legitimately just waiting down. Like, you'd think after like at least like 10 years, I think, Chung, I think they forgot about us.
Oh God.
Like, no, man, just give them some time.
All right.
So, yeah, you're right. There's not a lot to this aside from the fact that Janice is trying to help reunite the sisters, because we learned that Janice has a long-lost sister.
Which, again, they don't really pay that off.
Oddly, no. Well, you think maybe we could have. At the very least, I thought we were going to do bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
When we were hallucinating, I thought we were going to have Janice imagine her sister. Perhaps in the season 2 kind of tease, perhaps might hint at, Janice.
You know what I thought of when I heard the Janice twin sister thing, Dragon?
What?
I thought of Friends with Phoebe and Ursula.
Okay.
like I said, that's another thing that really didn't need a payoff. Like, because she did say, I don't know where she is. She's out there somewhere.
Did a part of you, this is going to sound dumb, did a part of you kind of hope that Janice's sister in that picture was going to be maybe like a Lisa Kudrow, like perhaps?
Oh, that would be amazing.
No, I'm just throwing out Lisa Kudrow. That's what I'm saying,
man. Janice absolutely has like a Lisa Kudrow vibe.
Now, I'm just throwing out Lisa Kudrow because of what Tiki just said, but it's the idea of a human sister just kind of going off the whole.
I mean, we already have Walter as kind of.
That's my point. Like, do you think is that like? Part of me is wondering, are we going to go that bold? Are we going to do that? Is ever going to? But no, it doesn't.
But that kind of thing, it's best not to question how it works.
Well, when
Z&K says, what a tease. They show a VHS tape labeled Muppets at Walt Disney World, and they show no footage from that special. Come on.
It's funny. We have some continuity stuff here. We have returning Muppet performers, and you have to wonder, like in the Walt Disney World, we had Charles Grodin, and then we have him in Muppet Caper. And here we have Kristen Shaw, who we'll talk about later, and we have Kristen Shaw in the Muppets.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. All right, okay, let's move on to 5.
Right. This is finally where things start to kind of like pick up for me.
Break on.
Cold Open is hilarious.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Which Cold Open is
the
this?
electric. Yeah, go on.
Now, which Cold Open is this?
What is the cold
It's the one where they want to headbang, but they can't because they got the neck braces.
They have all the neck braces on. They have like a song on the radio. Nora's like, "Don't do it.
Don't do it.
The musicality is compelling us."
So I will say, with this episode, I will say I think the beginning of it kind of drags just a little bit with. I think it's just something in the editing with the whole, like, we got a lot of beginnings, we got a lot of middles, we got a lot of ends. Like, I don't know. It's fine. I just kind of feel like it's the pacing was a little off. But then once we get on the road trip, I mean, that's really the first time in this series where I'm really just, I feel like the series is firing on all cylinders.
Road trip!
So, yeah. I mean, like, obviously the big thing to talk about with this episode is the marshmallows of it all.
So the marshmallows is
I just think of Brad Jones with the expired marshmallows because that man has ingested so much expired shit with his Brad Tries series.
Yeah, it's actually a really good point. How is like has he ever had like a really adverse reaction to anything like
Not that I know of.
Because
Not
he eats
that I
like
know
it's like
of.
decades old like food items, right?
I mean, he has ingested some really funky shit, Dragon, like sodas from the
saying.
70s and stuff
right?
like that.
I mean, you know.
Okay,
Okay, so the point being, so we have find a way to have everyone hallucinate in a kind of a kid-friendly way with the 30-year-old expired marshmallows.
It's like, and of course, Nora was like the first one we saw. It's like my father. I'll be a falconer like my father, Parvesh.
Oh God!
So I love that it's like this fits the Electric Mayhem, but it is a loophole to how we can do kind of. We had Cheech and Chong in there too, which also probably helps, you know.
ZK says, "I love how they found a way to work drug trips in without actually using real drugs.
Yeah.
You can't have a rock band without mentioning drugs."
That's what I'm saying. We found a cool loophole.
Slasher Fred's also in here. He says the series is sort of like a mockumentary, a little bit. I mean, in
one
part,
episode
like,
in particular, but you know.
Well, yes, absolutely.
Well, I mean, the 2015 was more of a mockumentary.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's more of a mockumentary than this is.
I gotta be honest. There's one missed opportunity for a guest star for me that really was apparent in this show.
Okay.
We should have had Michael McKean pop up in this show.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
You know, the Spinal Tap thing. You know, at the very least in the
Right.
he should have shown up.
Well, to be fair, they did reference that with their amps that go up to 11.5.
That's what I'm saying. Well, that would be, you know, honestly, if Michael McKean like ran a music store or something, I don't know, it'd be kind of nice.
Or Harry Shearer, anyway.
Well, that too. Okay. We like McKean better. So.
I mean, I'm just saying, fair.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. So let's go through some of our hallucinations here. We have the Infinite Janices. We have.
You know what I really like about the hallucinations is that, like, on a rewatch, it actually does set up a lot of the band's storylines for the rest of the season.
It does, yeah. Like Lips gets kind of like a hero's vision of saving the cheerleader, save the world.
I love Lips' eyes in his hallucination.
I'm not crazy. His eyes, before his eyes open, it's like Lips has this weird effect where his eyes many times look CG. Did you get any of that?
Yeah, no,
I kind of just had like more of like his eyes were just kind of like droopy and closed. Honestly, I'd have to go back and look.
No, I'm saying they are closed. I'm just saying when you look at them though, it's like especially for when the eyes open. I guess in general though, they kind of sometimes look CG'd.
When they're open, they look CG.
No, when they're closed. I'm saying when there's something like off, like Uncanny Valley about.
I'd honestly have to go back and look.
Maybe it's just that one scene when they're just about to open. Maybe that. Anyway.
And we get Dr. T's fear of commitment.
Done via claymation.
That's great. That's awesome to see him in claymation.
Yeah.
Like his fear of commitment. You could even like see some of the stuff regarding his dental history.
Which is going to be great.
Honestly, like as soon as the drug trip started happening, I didn't call the animal with the baby animal thing, but I kind of called like, oh, we're going to see him like speaking like totally like super proper English, aren't we?
Then the best cameo ever happened.
Yes.
Also,
it's not the best cameo in this show, Dragon. It's not the best cameo.
You're right. But what's like one of the best cameos?
Oh my God, it's amazing though. It really is.
We're the only Weird Al Yankovic.
You know what's funny is like I feel like I literally, when we were talking about Weird last year, I literally addressed like, isn't it odd that he's never done anything with the Muppets?
And now,
so this is absolutely like wish fulfillment. Like, okay, crossed it off the bucket list. We saw him collaborate with the Muppets. Awesome.
Honestly, it's strange it didn't happen sooner.
Yeah, no, totally. The Lion King thing is just fucking hilarious.
And of course, it says the guy only writes parody songs. Gotcha. It's like, hey, I write a lot of.
I love how offended Al is at that. I feel like that's a really great gag. It very much reminds me of how we write Kevin Smith as well, where it's like Al takes personal offense to that because he's proud of he's proud of his original songs, man. He is.
He's proud of his songs.
Oh my God. Z&K, yes to a Muppets Al polka melody. Yes, please.
I think the word is medley.
Yeah, you're right, Dragon. I'm sorry.
All right. We saw them anyway. Okay.
I don't hear like I heard like you hear his polka rendition of like Rainbow Connection. or man or Muppet.
Yeah, I mean, you could go through the whole gauntlet. I'm just kind of, anyways. We could totally get sidetracked just brainstorming for that.
The Mayhem return, inspired, and they get all the time in the world because Dr. Teeth finally commits to Penny.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a big reveal. People are at the door. We kind of pull almost like a Lemony Snicket kind of ending here. Like, oh god, they have a couple reaching that door. It's going to be heartbreaking.
Mommy, Mama, Daddy.
Yes. So then we get to episode 6, which is probably the best episode of the show.
I always think like episode 6 is definitely like the best from a character point of view, and then I think episode 7 is the best from a comedy.
Exactly. 6 and 7 are the highlights for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, I think those I think 5 is a really good kind of lead in, but then 6 and 7 are like the high. I think
like, this is definitely Floyd and Dr. Teeth's episode.
From a character perspective, this is
Dragon. Oddly enough, I'm not sure if you're going to agree with this statement, but it's ever so slightly like we're kind of like doing an Albuquerque verse with the Dr. Teeth of it all.
A little bit.
Ever so slightly.
Ever so slightly. But again, self-aware that like we're calling out the flashback, so that's really
right.
And also an abrupt flashback.
Okay, so real quick, before we get into all the great flashbacky goodness, this is our cold open. We bring in another Goldbergs alumni. We have Cedric Yarborough, who was on Bob Odenkirk's new show recently in a recurring role. He was
right. How is that, by the way?
It wrapped up.
I thought it was decent.
It wrapped up for the season, so it's all 8 episodes are available now.
I'll need to check it out.
It's good, but obviously it's hard to.
It's not going to be Better Call Saul. I'm not expecting it to be Better Call Saul.
It's witty. It's witty, and I like it. I don't know how you're going to respond to it, but I liked it.
All right. It's like you guys are creating a jam. Yeah, did you like it? It's like, no. We're like behind you. It's a traffic jam.
I love Cedric Yarborough saying, "Do you take requests?" So.
Nobody can resist. I mean, that's just proof. No one can resist the power of rock and roll.
That is true. So we have the awesome Dr. Teeth backstory episode here, where we meet his parents, Tina and Gerald. Gerald Sr. Apparently, Dr. Teeth's real name is Gerald.
So I love the runner with his dad just being just a total pushover. I love that so much.
All he says is "yup" until it counts. Until it counts.
I kind of figured. Well, actually, the way I figured is like kind of way I figured it would go is like his wife would say something and then he would just say, "Nope."
Well, what do you know? Silent Bob gave us some wisdom at the end of the story.
Yeah, that's next week. So that's
I know.
But I was kind of expecting him just to say, "Nope." but I'm glad they subverted that expectation and actually gave him something meaningful to say.
And then the voice actress playing the mother is just fucking fantastic.
She's killing it.
Who played her again? Stephanie DeBruzzo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the backstory stuff is really great. Floyd. I love Floyd and Teef's kind of like Lennon McCartney sort of origin.
I just love how humble.
DNK, you're right. Performer, not voice actor. Yeah. Thanks for calling me on that. You're absolutely right. Go ahead, Dragon.
I love how kind of earnest and humble the beginnings of Dr. Teeth are. They're dentists who really care about their profession in New Orleans, and they're like throwing out floss like it's candy.
Floss toss.
Yeah, the floss toss and everything. And the fact that Floyd is the one who kind of jump-started him in the music there. They built the bridge essentially with the and kind of a fun dental pun, but also with the harmonica, which the harmonica has teeth in a sense, so it's very symbolic.
And it also kind of revealed that Pepper was actually in the army. He actually held the rank of sergeant.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
how weird was it seeing him with the pencil mustache?
It was very weird.
I discovered your problem. You have no teeth.
I love that.
Okay, yeah. ZNK, the fact that Floyd works at Jerry's Tunes, established in 1934, that was definitely a good call.
I caught the Jerry's, and I was like,
I did too. Yeah.
I gotta be honest, it's gonna sound silly. I was really touched by that Jerry's. Like, oh man, that's really nice. Jerry Nelson's not around anymore. We're doing all the Electric Mayhem, so that's cute.
I mean, remember his last Muppets thing was the announcer of the Muppet Telethon.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Kind of reminds me how in the Sesame Street land at SeaWorld, there's a Mr. Hopper's grocery store.
Yeah.
Or Hooper, I'm sorry.
Mr. Hooper.
Yeah, not fucking Hopper. I'm sorry.
It's Hooper, Tiki. It's Hooper.
All right.
Anyway, he died for our sins, man. Show some respect. Okay? So, anyway. Yeah, but so this flashback's really good, and we're seeing like a mentorship kind of happen between the two of them, and they kind of need each other. And the fact that Floyd keeps coming back, and I love that the harmonica being passed on is kind of like this thing of like you still have that after all these like check-in points in his life. And I love seeing Dr. Teeth in all these outfits, like the graduate, and then he's like the young dental practitioner.
Mm.
And as Jacob said, I see the problem. You ain't got no teeth.
Yeah, Z&K, that's where I got fouled up, was that you mentioned Doc Hopper earlier. That's where the Hopper came from. Anyways, go ahead, Dragon. I'm sorry.
Anyway, so yeah, then we have this great runner. And I like how we build up the drama of it. And again, I love puppet pathos, man. I love it. I love it, which we see like this. There's an unspoken kind of drama here between Tina Teeth and Floyd here. It says Floyd, and she doesn't give him the floor.
Ma'am.
And just moseys on. Yeah,
you can say what you will about Matt Vogel's performance as Kermit. He absolutely nails Floyd.
Absolutely, for sure. No question.
For sure.
For sure.
For sure. Yeah, so all that's just wonderful, and then of course Gerald's big moment at Cavity Con. Gerald speaks up. And this was beautiful writing. This is Goldberg, you genius, you.
Goldberg didn't actually write this episode.
Never mind.
Z&K says, I know there's no such thing as Muppet continuity, but this is such a great addition to Muppet continuity. That's a really good way to put it. Yeah, and for all intents and purposes, I consider this canon. Because
the Muppet movie, as much as I love it, technically it's like a film interpretation of the Muppets. It's not even really like this is exactly how it happened, but no, it's literally the cinematic version of how it happened. But no, look to Jacob's point. Yes, Goldberg did not specifically write this episode, but it's in general, it's that philosophy of Goldberg.
Bravo, Vince.
Yes, bravo. The fact that we have Goldberg having that whole end on like third act has all the hardnet kind of philosophy there. So Gerald speaks up, and he has this beautiful piece of writing here, which is like all we ever wanted for you was a bright future, and for you to bring smiles to the world. He looks around everyone after they play a little concert. So you're bringing millions of smiles to people. It's like, oh man, it's beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what Dr. Teeth's all about. The fact that he has like his little golden floss thing is the golden.
I love the golden tube. That was a great runner in the episode too.
Yeah, and it sounds like his grandfather's gold floss case.
Yeah.
All right.
The fact that we did an episode where it's like we explain like we literally took one of the Electric Mayhem members like, okay, it's Dr. Teeth, and here's why it's Dr. Teeth.
And Sergeant Pepper.
Yep.
Okay, so here we fucking go, dude.
The episode that I was most hyped for, by the way.
This episode is just, it's perfection. It really is. I mean, it takes a perfect premise and it absolutely just nails it.
I was anticipating this one highly for obvious reasons, but it's the fact that since the show started, it's like, okay, it makes sense. We can't do it in episode 2, obviously, but, maybe it'll be the next episode, maybe the next one. Then you realize, like, well, it's going to have to be later in the thing. But then you're just like, at a certain point, you're being enamored by this Dr. Teeth episode's wonderful. How could it get any better than this? Well, I'll show you how.
8 days a week.
So, first of all, like, the Kevin Smith stuff, I love how Kevin Smith is almost like, he's not even, like, a cameo. He's more so just, like, a one-off character.
You know why Kevin Smith's in this, don't you?
Why?
He directed epids of the Goldberg. He knows Adam.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
That's why he put him in this. And also, Kevin Smith, he's had many nice words to say about the Muppets over time. Kevin Smith recently with his movie theater. I told you about the movie theater, right?
I heard about that. Yeah.
No, it's Kevin Smith.
I did. I'll explain it to me because I didn't hear about that.
Okay, essentially, Kevin Smith recently, I don't know how recently, but he recently bought a movie theater in New Jersey, and he basically it's the Kevin Smith Theater, and essentially, I guess maybe the Smodcast Theater. I forget the exact name, but the point being, he screens, the popular movies, which do not get as much buzz as like the big theater chains, but also he holds like little events and everything. Like he's doing like an event of like, hey, the movies that made him, and one of them was the Muppet movie. So Kevin Smith loves the Muppets. It had a big influence on him with movies and such.
It's definitely like him and Weird Al are like the two big like wish fulfillment cameos.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And I remember seeing seeing his post on Facebook after the trailer drop. He's like, I've been waiting to post this picture for a while now.
I learned about it through Hollywood Babylon through the podcast. He mentioned it. It was like for the first time. I was like, oh God, he's in it. Oh, it's amazing, and this makes sense as well because he was on Earth to Ned for like the second half of episodes.
True,
it makes sense. He's been in the Henson camp.
So
he's been hanging around Henson country.
There's a lot to dig into with just him in this episode. I mean. Like, specifically, isn't it fucking wonderful that his presence in this episode is basically one giant reference to the Prince story?
Yeah, I know, right? I love that.
What do you mean by Prince?
Okay, so Kevin Smith was hired by Prince to do a documentary on Prince, and he was not really a documentarian, but Prince just like, hey, you want to do it? And he did, and basically Prince was all wacky and everything while he was there. And apparently Prince, the word is supposed Tiki, do you hear if this came out yet or not?
The documentary, no, not as far as I know.
Okay, so here's the thing. So they announced that the word is that documentary is going to come out at some point soon. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know if it's, but they said soon, like earlier in this year. But obviously, I don't know if it's going to be still happening this year or maybe it's going to be pushed to next year. The point being, soon that Prince documentary might be coming out because Jacob, apparently Prince was kind of very paranoid about things, and he had all of his all these unfinished documentaries and music videos and just full-on feature films put into a vault, an actual vault, never to be seen by the light of day. So Kevin Smith did this whole documentary. He says, so need me to do anything else on it? Like, when's it going to be out? Are we going to screen anywhere? So he's like, oh, no, it's going in the vault. So and the word is now, since Prince's death, they're going to actually put out this Kevin Smith film documentary. It's a question of when, but, who knows?
Also, Dragon, this is a deep cut of a deep cut, but I thought of a perfect, like, gag that they could have done. It would have been a deep cut gag, but how perfect would it have been if at the end of this episode, the Electric Mayhem neglect to thank Kevin Smith and he gets offended by it?
Oh, God, yeah. So the other thing, after Prince did all this and all these wacky Prince stuff, Kevin Smith just wanted Prince to thank him and he didn't do it.
Dragon, honestly, that's kind of a philosophy that I go by. It's like, I will do a lot of shit for people, but if they don't thank me, then...
I remember, he also didn't even let Weird Al do any parodies of his work.
Prince, yes, that is true.
Like Al could have technically done it any time, considering how parodies fall under fair use. But due to that, but he always asked permission, and Prince never gave permission.
Well, it's kind of like why Chicken Pot Pie has never appeared on an album.
Yep, and also, but Weird Al always respected the wishes, but of course Al did take a few pot shots at Prince here and there in his songs.
Quote Rocket Raccoon. That is also true.
Speaking of pot shots, yoga hosers.
I love that.
and whatever yoga hosers was.
Oh my God, dude!
He's got teeth and he can bite.
Isn't it great that Jersey Girl is no longer the punching bag of Kevin Smith's career?
It is nice. It's funny. They announced this recently for like another screening. They're going to screen that, which they haven't done in years since the Vulgar-thon back when. They're going to do the Snyder cut of Jersey Girl, which is the longest version of basically the nickname for the longest version of Jersey Girl, which hasn't been screened for a long time.
But of course, Kevin takes it all in stride. Like he knows.
He does. Anyways.
And it is actually kind of surprising to have like a thing on Disney Plus explicitly reference things like yoga hosters.
Right, that's true.
And all through.
But then again, Jacob, we did have that Randy Marsh cameo in Rescue Rangers.
I know.
Nothing is off the table.
Okay, so Kevin Smith's there. We're talking about like he's directed a lot of foul mouth comedies with Clerks 3, and now he's moving into a family picture.
It's a family picture.
Essentially, also like we have I love him hugging Animal and everything. The fact that he goes back to the band. I think the implications of the band corrupted Kevin Smith. It's kind of like
they introduced him to weed.
Well, I mean, I think there might be an implication.
He was a late bloomer when it comes to that.
Tiki, have you heard the recent goings on with Kevin Smith without getting into it?
Not I mean, outside of like the weight loss stuff, no.
Yeah, there's been some recent developments. He's no longer a stoner.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but there's that and there's some other stuff too. But the point being, Kevin Smith's.
I mean, that's actually probably pretty good for him when it comes to his actual creative output.
Well, that's the thing.
Not gonna lie.
Let's just say it's kind of a mental health reason. He's kind of off the stuff. Anyway, regardless, yeah, that's the thing.
The actor who played Jay is actually sober now too.
Well, he's been
sober for a long time.
I know, but he actually talked about when I saw his brief panel. But I briefly saw caught the tail end of his panel at GalaxyCon.
Yes. I also caught this a similar panel at the Jay and Silent Bob Get Old panel right before I was preempted.
Oh, God.
It's like okay, I'm going to speak now. Panel's over.
Yep.
Richard's victim says Kevin Smith is literally a Muppet. I mean, especially with his new like weight loss and everything, it's like especially Muppet-esque.
I mean, I almost didn't recognize him because of his weight.
I know, right?
He's wearing the weight loss outfit now, which is usually that purple jacket.
Mm-hmm. I love the purple jacket. I love that as like a late stage Kevin Smith outfit.
I mean, honestly, the weight loss and being sober from weed, good for him.
Yeah, no, for real.
And of course, got to work with the Muppets. I mean, it's a trifecta.
That is true.
Okay, so outside of the Kevin Smith stuff, which like we could literally just sit here and talk about
Broseph Gordon-Levitt.
all the bro stuff. But let's just face it. I love like how many of the cameos in this like credit their start to the Electric Mayhem.
Yeah, like Tommy Lee, for example.
It's like
oh my God.
Like when I was passed out, they tattooed their name on my chest.
So outside of the cameos, I think, is it pretty clear that the person who steals this episode is Penny?
Penny.
Well, I would say it's another Oscar-nominated actor, but sure.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I love the idea of Penny being the Yoko Ono, like all the way down to like the shrieking vocals.
Like Penny is like knitting sweaters.
I'll be right over here. Don't mind me.
I love the polite argument that Dr. Teeth and Floyd get into. And it's funny. You look at this and you compare it to the Muppets 2015. Muppets 2015, Dr. Teeth and Floyd had a very nasty argument about Janice being both of their girlfriends. And
oh God! Oh, that's true.
You remember that? That was it. Plus, your girl was in that. Tiki, Kristen Chenoweth. That was her episode. She was the Mayhem. Eating bugles and stuff. So,
first of all, Kristen Chenoweth is not like there's another Kristen that's more my girl than Chenoweth.
Well, she's in this too.
I know.
She's also Muppet affiliated.
I like Kristen Chenoweth quite a bit, but I wouldn't go as far as to say she's my girl.
I think the point you have a thing for Kristens, talented Kristens. Okay, my point is, we have something really there is really kind of like a dark potential breakup of the band, and here we have just like, well, she could knit you a sweater if you would like. I would like that, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome.
Love it. That's wonderful. So the point being, this is where we're getting the love triangle thing, where again Nora and JJ have reconnected, and Moo's getting jealous, which leads to the sabotage.
You know what though? We did pass over my favorite JJ gag, which is all the way back in episode 5. Involving Penny, just like Nora's coming in and Penny's just eating the ribs. Like, Nora, come in, grab a bib. I just love that delivery.
I love her voice.
Oh, yeah.
Grab a bib.
Let's see. So the Right. So we have the sabotage here, which is like the naming of the Electric Mayhem, which essentially Penny named it Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem because she was dating him at the time, and this causes a big dust up between the band during the documentary. And Kevin Smith, we just cut them periodically in the corners, like.
Oh, I love Kevin Smith just being a whore for the drama. That's great.
It's like, shouldn't you cut away? Like, no, this is drama.
That's fucking awesome.
Let's talk about Zoot.
I mean, to be fair, drama does sometimes make a good documentary.
Oh, for sure.
Well, yeah, most of the time, I would say that's accurate.
One of the great guys we showed up was like, see this camera? Don't look at this camera.
Like, okay, action.
Love it. Anyway, so Zoot. So I love this guy where Zoot thinks this is a biopic, and he's wondering who's going to play him.
Yes.
I want Elvis to play. Which initially I thought it was going to be an Austin Butler thing, but like, no, Elvis.
That would be great if Austin Butler showed up in character to audition for Suit.
I mean, that'd be great, but there's no way shooting-wise they'd ever be able to time that out, right?
I know.
Who's can they get Elvis? I think he's dead. Since when?
No, what? No, it's like, what? When?
What? When?
Oh, guys, remember, Elvis didn't die. He just went home.
Yep. Tommy Lee Jones said, so it must be true.
Yep.
And then we have like Sinatra. I'm forgetting who. There was 3 names mentioned. I know it was Elvis and Sinatra. Who was the middle one? Do you get Jake?
Oh shit! Oh, I'm blanking on it.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Oh, great. Okay, so
sorry.
Anyways,
but we get so many people trying out for Moon.
I know.
and of course, of all people, Morgan Freeman.
Okay, this Morgan Freeman gag was brilliant. It was. We've had 2 gods in the Muppet in the Muppet verse here. We've had Whoopi Goldberg, and now we've had Morgan Freeman.
Well, technically 3
Who's Charlemagne the God?
Oh, you're right. Yes, we've had 3 gods.
Another like music related cameo where it's like I have no earthly idea who this is. Anyways,
but yep, Morgan Freeman. It's like you're not like. This is about. No, I'm gonna watch him. I'm gonna become him.
I just love that Morgan Freeman committed so much that he showed up in the Zoot outfit with the long hair and everything. The I love it. Initially, when he shows up, you can't recognize him because he's that good an actor.
and then because he like also has a mask on or something.
Right.
But then it's like. I wonder how they convince him. Like, okay, Morgan, you're gonna come up. You're gonna have.
Morgan Freeman does have a good sense of humor. Plus, I think everyone, even the communists, love the Muppets. No, seriously, there's like a whole book about it. The communists love the Muppets.
Are you serious? There's an actual book about that.
I mean, I admit I have not read it yet, but that's essentially the summation of the summation of the book I'm looking forward to reading. Essentially, communists love Muppets.
Oh man!
I mean, Hitler was a fan of Snow White.
Well,
that I can believe.
Well, now you brought it up. Yeah.
I mean, Hitler and communism are pretty comparable.
Okay, guys, let's not go down the rabbit hole.
Let's stow the geopolitical.
Let's not go down the succession, the political rabbit hole.
Let's stow the geopolitical puppet.
I know, but anyway, saying Morgan Freeman was great.
Yeah. All right. Anyways,
and how he's gonna like approach the role like he's gonna win an Oscar. Well, let's face it, he would win an Oscar.
He would.
Probably.
He'd be nominated for it at the very least.
He'd win an Oscar playing Zoot in a movie. He totally would.
Yep. I love. I can imagine Dave Gold's reaction to this. Just like say,
"Oh God,
okay, Dave. So we're gonna have actors audition to play Zoot, the character you crafted. Guess who we got? You'll never guess. Morgan Freeman. What? When?
Z&K says all the Zoots having the tennis ball noses is what got me.
Or then we have this gag with Lips. Lips apparently has all the musical connections in the electric.
Yes.
Paul Abdul.
But yeah, I love like the misnomer of like, no, he wants like the Beatles, and he keeps getting like, no, not the Bangles, and no, not. I said Paul Ringo, not Paul Abdul.
Oh God!
After Lips is introduced to the cat.
Yep,
the Scat Cat. Yes.
Yes, Scat Cat. Yeah.
Wait, no, it's not Scat Cat. Who was Scat Cat? Was from the Aristocats.
Oh, wait, actually, it might be Scat Cat.
Yeah, Scat Cat was.
Oh, is it Scat Cat?
I think actually Scat Cat.
Okay, my bad.
It might be a different Scat Cat.
I was second guessing myself. I shouldn't have.
Anyways. Well, let's just say that a terrible name for a cat, though, right?
Well,
that word meant something different in the 80s, man.
Hunting's been around for like since the Golden Age.
Scat is a form of music.
I know.
It is. Yeah, that's actually technically Louis Prima's genre.
That does. I know that. I'm just saying it doesn't make it a good name for someone. Is my point.
Technically, it's MC Scat Cat.
That's better.
Oh God.
Anyway.
All right.
Okay, so let's see. So we have a lot of chaos going on here, and also again with Moog's sabotage. He's competing with JJ here, and JJ tries to schmooze over Animal with bunnies.
Bunny.
Yep. I gotta admit, a part of me, I don't know why I was this stupid. I didn't realize that this would never physically be able to be shot with puppets. I thought, are we gonna get like an animal holding a real bunny? Is like, no, it wouldn't make any sense. We can't have like an actual living bunny in the hands of the puppet. That'll never work.
Huge missed opportunity for a Bean Bunny cameo.
I mean, yes.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not serious.
That's the thing. I mean, part of me was thinking like, it's funny, kind of like the Bean Bunny thing. But wait a minute.
It would have been funny if you like punched.
Have any of you guys seen a bunny?
It would have been kind of funny if you punched like, hey, wait, what am I doing here? I'm not in this show.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. So the it's really cute, those animal with the bunnies and everything.
Bunny. But and it kind of does hype up his like protective nature a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Bean's dead according to Kirk Thatcher.
Wait, really?
Apparently, according to
They
Kirk
killed
Thatcher.
him.
I don't know.
No, I didn't say why. I said, oh, they killed him.
I thought you said why'd they kill him.
No, not what. Well, I mean, okay, there's a question of why they killed him, but I wasn't really posing that to anyone. Just like apparently, Kirk Thatcher sat on him. Apparently,
I also thought you said like how'd they kill him.
Well, they probably said Kirk Thatcher probably sat on him. That's probably they killed him.
And I like that Bunny is like called back to an old Frank interview. All right.
Okay.
Probably Frank, most likely Frank Oz.
Yeah, Frank Oz. Yeah, probably Frank Oz improvising the animal likes bunnies.
Bunny.
See, now I'm just imagining. Oh, this is dumb. There's an animal doing like a thing for the Playboy Mansion or something. Just like doing one of those like an interview for like.
Bunny woman. Bunny woman.
That's what I'm saying. It would fit for two reasons. He likes bunnies, likes women, bunnies.
Here you go.
Okay, so let's see. So, sorry, we have Floyd's spite song about soup, which is also kind of funny.
It's a jingle single.
Yep. Anyway, so at the end here, Silent Bob drops knowledge at the end of the movie.
I love the Amy thing, man.
Yeah.
That's so good.
It's great, and also a call. I love that he's wearing the Silent Bob coat, by the way. During this scene, when he says that.
Yeah. Clearly, you're Amy.
When he calls it the fact that Silent Bob usually has that one grain of wisdom or like that one line in the movie. So by the end of the movie, Silent Bob has spoken.
Which honestly, at this point, I feel like that's almost a deep cut when it comes to Kevin Smith.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got Oh, and by the way, the reason the bunny's in this episode, I think, in addition to that Frank Oz thing, is that Kevin Smith's daughter loves bunnies. So I think that's why they put it in there.
There you go.
That Harley Quinn Smith's on the scene, like, hey kid, come with me to set, come with me to work. Like, look at that, I give animal bunnies. Isn't
God,
that
that's probably exactly how it did go down.
like, oh
that's
yes, Dad, that's cute. Can I hold one of them? Like,
oh
yeah,
my
sure.
God.
Okay.
Fucking Lily Depp is there too.
Lily Rose.
Sorry.
Yeah, both the yoga hoses are there. Okay, so Tiki, let's talk about the other cameo.
Yes. Okay. So Dragon, I know this probably isn't going to hit as hard with you as it did for me because you're not a Lord of the Rings guy.
I appreciated the cleverness. I knew you were going to love this.
Oh my! This is my favorite cameo in the whole series. I think
Peter Jackson.
Because I like Dragon. You don't even understand. Like the Lord of the Rings, like the extended editions of the Lord of the Rings. They literally have like 6 hours of making of footage per movie. So like I have seen so much documentary material of this man, Dragon. And like the way that they play him is just like the most fucking like cynical, pompous, like arrogant Hollywood director. It's so perfect.
And it's like, man, it's PG. We haven't seen you since we met the Feebles.
I don't know, man. I love it. Like,
which is a good nod to how he got his start.
I don't make sequels. I make trilogies.
Remember,
you made one really good one and one really bad one, PJ.
But remember,
come on, that's real. You can't call him PJ.
No, that's actually what he likes to be called, Dragon.
Get out of here! There's no way.
No, I'm serious. Like on set, there's actually like that's what people call him on set.
Does anyone call him Peach?
Probably not.
Right. But it's like, remember, he did before he got into like all these epic movies and stuff. He did direct like some kind of like gross out schlockfest stuff.
I mean, yeah,
He was basically another Raimi before Lord of the Rings.
He wrote one of the drafts of one of the Nightmare Before Elm Street sequels.
Yeah.
And also he did direct Meet the Feebles, which is a dark take on the Muppets, basically.
Right.
And I love how they like openly reference that here. It's like one of them's on the run, several of them are in prison.
It's quite clever.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can definitely say Peter Jackson's come a long way.
Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure. Another guy who's kind of had a weight loss journey, also.
And it's also kind of interesting that he technically wasn't credited.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knew who he was just because of the fact they said his name several times, but he technically wasn't credited in the episode for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay, so next one we have Track 8, Virtual Insanity.
Not great.
Okay, thank you. I'm so glad I'm not the only one who doesn't care for this.
It's not terrible. I mean, there's like
it's an outlier, Dragon. That's what I would call it. It's an outlier. It's the only one of these episodes that like I actively don't like.
I mean, honestly, it's just the fact that when you look at what the episode is like, we really pull a solution out of our butt at the very end here, where it's like, hey, we everyone's against the Electric Mayhem, and they're just gonna perform their song in Minecraft, and it's gonna go well, and they're gonna change the situation somehow.
I mean, admittedly, Dr. T's like autocorrect scenario was kind of funny, though.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's funny, and what caused the problems? I mean, there's the angry mob, okay, and they went a little broad with the music groups. That's fine. It's the fact that our solution was just really just ham-fisted, like, oh, just gonna play the music. Well, yeah, they're gonna play music, but how is that gonna fix anything? It's just they're doing the concept.
I want to reiterate, episode 9. Also entirely surrounding social media, but for some reason the writing on that episode is a lot stronger. I can't even really. I just feel like it's a lot more in character. Like in episode 9, we really explore each individual character's relationship to social media.
I think the problem is that this episode is like one errant mistake versus like actual problems with social media.
Right.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to be like. I'm not, again, I feel like this series, it peaks with those 3 episodes that we just mentioned. And so, while I don't dislike the last, I mean, this is the one that I actually do kind of dislike, but I don't dislike the last 2, but I feel like all 3 of these episodes are kind of just like, they're not bad by any stretch. I feel like the last 2 are better than the first few, but again, it's kind of like, they sort of, it peaked. It peaked with episode 7.
Okay.
Anyways.
All right, so that brings us to 9.
Oh wow, that's really not a lot talking about episode 8.
I mean, do you want to talk about the musical like the super fan groups? Do you want to talk about the fans?
I mean, that's one of the things that I really did not care for, is that it literally just felt like lip service.
I had one kind of fun thought about one of them. Just the fact that when they show up, it's like the believers show up. It's like, ram them, run them over. There's your escape. Run over the believers.
Honestly, the Swifties are the ones that scare me the most.
Although they are the most terrifying, but that's why I say, they're too scary. Run over the believers. No one's going to miss them. It's fine. Right. Run over the believers.
That is very true. Honestly, I kind of feel like the Justin Bieber thing is a little outdated. Like, is anyone really like ride or die for him these days?
Yeah, you know what's funny about that Bieber kid? He was so hated when he showed up, and for a while he's like a whole bunch of stupid like overprivileged celebrity crap.
Do you remember when he did that one thing where he it was like backstage at a restaurant or something, and he was being super. You remember that?
I remember a lot of Hollywood Babylon has a whole segment in which they talk about all the Justin Bieber news, and it's like I can't. It's very curse word filled, so I'm not gonna say what the segment's called. But it's funny, and the point is the fact that that segment's kind of gone away because he's been rather docile after getting married. He's been kind of keeping it in check.
I kind of feel like he's having almost like a Guy Fieri kind of like public appreciation turnaround on him almost.
Did people not like Guy Fieri for a while?
People hated Guy Fieri for a while, Dragon.
Really? I did not know.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Guy Fieri was kind of
Dragon, Lindsay Ellis actually just released a video on this very subject. Check
Get
it out
outta
on
here.
Nebula.
Really?
Ding! Sponsor us, Nebula. I'm just kidding.
Would be
All right,
pretty cool.
anyways.
Okay, let's just move on.
Okay, fair enough. So, like I said, episode 9, I think out of the 3 final episodes, I think this one is the strongest. Specifically because even, again, like as a juxtaposition to episode 8, where I kind of feel like they were just sort of like, shoehorning in all those fan bases just for the sake of lip service. I feel like in this one, I really appreciate the fact that, like, I kind of like that each of the members of the Electric Mayhem gets addicted to a different social media app, and it's all varying character. Like Zoot being addicted to Instagram, and then Dr. Teeth and Penny having basically having the fucking the Hot Ones YouTube channel.
Yeah. And animals on TikTok and
Animal being addicted to TikTok. I was not expecting that to hit as good as it did.
I mean, honestly, the whole kind of like phones, kind of the whole social media is a toxic kind of thing. I mean, it's getting kind of old, but at least they kind of turned around and they showed the positives of social media too.
Yeah, no, I agree, Jacob. I do feel like if it was just like the band is trying to get into social media, but they can't wrap their head around it, I feel like that would have been tired. What I really appreciate about this episode is that they each kind of take advantage of it in their own way.
Here's what's interesting, but also I feel maybe a story issue, especially with our last 2 episodes where we need conflict. So the band has like the most polite breakup ever on air.
I actually do like that.
Yeah. That's great. That's hilarious how that happens. And Nora's like freaking out, like, "Oh God, they're breaking up on air, but it's so amicable." And they're not talking about.
It's like it almost just happens out of sheer like aggressive politeness.
And even Charlotte made the go like, "Well, you witnessed it here. It's like the most polite breakup I've ever seen."
And so all this great, of course, Dr. T like listing out like the full URL thing. That's also
that was funny. That was definitely like a legitimately funny like boomer doesn't understand internet joke.
As the kids may call it, a dot.
Two dots stacked on top of each other.
So here's the thing. Well, we have all that. We pull kind of the JJ character is kind of like a Schwartz. The Schwartzes from Breaking Bad, in which it's a gray matter thing. In which we presented a solution.
He even kind of looks like Elliot now that you mention it.
Well, maybe
a little bit in the face. I think.
I mean, vaguely.
A little bit.
So, my point is, so like earlier episodes, I think we missed it way back when it happened. But we have this great moment where animals like we're doing like the Howard Hamlin call out, essentially like, well, is he bad? Like, well, no, like everything he's done has actually been to help us.
Right, exactly.
Like, good, bad. He just goes bad. He's Nora doesn't like him. And then we'll be like, this guy, we kind of glazed over this too.
Again, make no mistake, this guy not nearly as good of a character as Howard Hamlin. I just want to make that quite clear.
Sure, nowhere near as developed and good as Howard Hamlin.
Howard Hamlin is a god.
He is. He's a well-suited. My point is, the fact that we have this character, and we give him layers. We reveal like the whole smushy origin, the fact it was like his birthday and they smushed a little cake on each other's face and everything. The fact is, like, she liked this guy, and the fact that they kind of reconnecting and everything. The fact that this guy's giving her an out, like, hey, look, let me turn your business into an app, and I'll put you in charge of it. And so he's like, hey, you all your work that you put in this place is not going to go unrewarded because we're friends, and I respect your abilities. This guy's actually on the level, it seems, and he's not really having a devious motivation.
I feel like the one underhanded thing about him is just the fact that, like, he views the breakup as like a benefit.
But that's the thing.
And even then, he's not entirely in the wrong about that, because it is further in her career.
So that's what's bringing me to the issue here, is that as much as I like that sort of idea, and I like how we it's an interesting challenge here, the fact that, like, hey, this breakup has happened, but it's not a bad thing because the band is happy, they are thriving, and Nora's job has been completed here. The album essentially still going to come out, just no one's really going to go to the album because they're swept up with the band and their solo stuff. And even if the company goes down, she'll still essentially she's been put in charge of everything. She's been put in charge of everything, and it still came up Millhouse, just not the way she thought it would. So basically, here's the risk of these 2 episodes. She fully gets the company in the last episode, but here's the fact of like, hey, it's kind of first world problems, It's like, well, hey, you get everything you ever wanted. Congratulations, without any of the hard work, really. It's like
right.
So that's kind of the issue. Is like, well, there's no stakes because of that. We went just like a hair too far. It's like we pushed the toolbox a little over Sid's desk. It's a little too far. It's like we've kind of our conflict is very unconflicty.
Yeah,
very non-conflicting.
Also, I love how the finale, like the show's basically all building up to them playing the Hollywood Bowl, just because I literally, like, again, this is not a humble brag on my end, but it's a humble brag for people I know. I know a couple people who have actually seen the Muppets at the Hollywood Bowl.
So I mean, that's the thing. Those are the only stakes we have. You're like, okay, they said they wanted to play the Hollywood Bowl, but now they don't have to by choice.
Right.
They don't have to. But that's the thing. The fact that it's by choice.
Dragon, what you're saying right now, like what you're laying out, that's kind of the reason why, even though, again, I feel like out of the 3 last episodes, this is probably the highlight for me. I feel like the show doesn't end as strongly as it possibly could have.
Yeah. I mean, that's also the inherent issue with the Electric Mayhem as a group, and this is the challenge of the show. I was kind of afraid. I'm not saying they stumbled truly on this, but just it's kind of become apparent here is that the Electric Mayhem are always. We have a gag in this show saying they're always happy. Like it's just like, hey guys, I found a fork. Hey, we know you can do it. Yeah, like the Electric Mayhem band is always happy. Okay, so it's gonna be really hard to genuinely bum out unless Animal leaves, which we already did way early on. So it's kind of hard to create conflict with a group that's always happy and very unaware of their situation,
for sure
going on there. So that's the one issue of the Electric Mayhem band, which kind of comes in the fruition here. But again, it feels like we did the best we could in terms of like, okay, if we can't bum the band out, we'll at least make them happy in unconventional ways. But how do we set them back from there? And that's kind of the weird place we leave things off on.
Okay, a couple things about this episode, then we can move on to the finale. Number 1, Hannibal. Fucking adorable. And again, I think Hannah is kind of like the unsung hero of the human side of things. I love her interactions with Animal. I love her being kind of like a cheerleader for Moog, even though I kind of agree with Dragon that the Moog chemistry isn't really there with Nora. I still find it adorable that Hannah's cheering him on. I don't know. I really like Hannah as a character. I like her a little bit more than I like Nora, even though she has less screen time.
Yeah, right.
And then also, we have to bring
man.
up the fact that Janice, like, accidentally starts a cult.
Well, I thought we were going to say that more for the last episode, but,
I mean, we can. I just, it kind of gets established here.
Yeah. They established, like, so many followers in a short amount of time. It's like, I think Janice actually created a cult entirely by accident.
There's Elton John. We played the Elton John clip with the
yes. Oh my God, that hit me in the feels for sure.
Very nice.
Remembering the good times.
So totally. It's kind of it's very first world. It's like, hey, we've ended on kind of like we've established stakes.
Right.
Like this successful woman's just grappling with success. Okay.
All right. Track 10. We Will Rock You. I will come on. I think this maybe could have been called All You Need Is Love. Would have been a more appropriate title. I don't know. Just saying. Maybe that would have been too many Beatles titles.
Yeah.
You guys.
We have like a fun recap gag where the Electric Man call it the recap next. Fast forward the good parts.
It's like, wait, why are we showing them this again?
Yeah. Okay, so we check in with the Mayhem band is basically Nora's trying to get everyone together because feeling that her modernizing the band has kind of like drifted them apart. She kind of robbed. Basically, she made them. I don't think they hit this well enough. Is that she made the band sell out and she feels bad about it. So we see Floyd as the successful jingle man.
I love this. I love the visual of him just sitting far away at the table.
I just wish Michael Keaton was in this scene.
And then Michael Keaton isn't in the scene, but my girl Kristen Shaw is in the scene.
That is true. It's the fact that we have like a Batman '89 long boardroom table. Practically, that's like
I love how Kristen Shaw is just like she's playing kind of like a Greg Hirsch type of just like corporate suck up. Essentially,
she has to keep yelling from across the table.
Right.
Like, Jack, we talked about this on Tuesday.
Oh my god.
Tuesday's gonna go to my trigger words. Sorry, I just love that scene.
Let's see. So Dr. Teeth and Penny are going on a cruise.
Like, did you get my sunscreen? Yeah. Towel? Yeah. Bikini? Oh yeah.
You know what I really appreciate about the Dr. Teeth thing is that I appreciate that like once he gets together with Penny, he doesn't really show pushback about it.
That's why we don't have like any we don't give him like a way out of it all. Like,
right. I totally appreciate that he doesn't view her as just like a ball and chain of sorts. Like he actually has affection for her.
All it took was a marshmallow fueled drug trip.
Although he did try to propose to her during his process. Like, the sixth time we've been through this thing, but I am keeping this ring.
Yeah.
Like, if there's anything I love more than a wing, it's a ring.
He is charming though, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, how can you not love a guy with a golden tooth and with that sweet crooner's voice?
Yep. Okay, so let's see. So Lips is doing his TED talk.
The TED talks, yeah, that's perfect.
Zoot has an art gallery in which they took a picture of Moog's nostrils for like $10,000.
You know what I actually thought was like a genuinely like emotional moment was when they found that he had thrown away his camera.
I know, that was really sad.
Especially because of the post-credit stingers. I feel like those post-credit stingers kind of made that moment like hurt all the more, I thought.
Built it up.
Uh-huh.
Then Janice has started a cult. By accident, but she started a cult.
Yeah, for sure.
She's literally right there in the yoga hut.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's her physical body. Her
they question, and then the cult gets intimidating, and they surround them.
She'll be in the astral plane for the next 4 to 6 hours.
Oh boy,
it's scary. Yeah, and it's like, I know that's played for comedy, but cults are like that.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, God, yeah, the cults are terrifying.
Not to mention,
then,
the galleries are realistic, and even a lot of the other stuff they do is fairly realistic.
It's on the money. It's been on the money.
And then, of course, Animal's the one that brings them all together.
Nora gone.
I will say, as much as I'm on some level, I do feel like this episode is kind of just like spinning the wheels to the obligatory happy ending. But I do really like the notion that they all come together for her.
I mean, yeah, I just wish there was like actually something sad that happened to her. It's like, I'm tired of all this success. She gave me the keys of the company.
Okay, you are absolutely not wrong in that regard.
It's like literally, Penny's like, take everything. Just don't eat my. I forget what it was. Like, don't eat my snacks. Don't get into the top drawer for something. Don't do that.
Well, to be fair, she grew close with the band and was like guilty about them breaking up.
I mean, yeah, but they were it was an amicable breakup. They're all good. They can call each other. I mean, like Animal can find them easily.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that Animal getting the band back together is good, though. He's the heart of the team. We established this in episode 3. We bring them all back. And you know what? When we bring them all back to find Nora, they need a mode of conveyance. And that mode of conveyance is the bus. And this, let me tell you what got me about this bus, man. The real bus from the Muppet movie was destroyed in a fire.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we kind of, in a way, revived it. We found some Disney money to bring it back. That was nice.
Muppet money.
Muppet money.
You mean you've lived here and you've never looked in your garage?
That was a nice shack, ultimately, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's like
I really do like that as a location. Yeah.
I mean, the the Shack basically had everything they needed to get back on their feet.
I love the fact they did not have the energy to do another. Can you picture that to the Shack? It says the Shack just still looks like the
right.
No, we already did that. But Danny Trejo was out.
Oh wait, we can only have one rebuilding montage per season.
Yep.
So with the love triangle thing, I am glad that she doesn't just like instantly get with Moog.
No. I mean, no, you're right. It's good that we don't do that. But it still
like
feels like, man, JJ didn't really do anything wrong here.
And in the same token, I'm kind of glad they didn't turn JJ into like this. Basically, I'm glad they didn't turn him into like a bad guy or just this douche.
Yeah,
like,
it's not like a heel.
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed that he was just sort of chill with being friend zoned.
Yeah,
it's like yeah, see you around. I mean, obviously he's upset by it because as anyone would, but like he takes it well as we see. Like he takes it well. He parts amicably and he's like JJ wasn't that bad of a guy after all. He was just enthusiastic and maybe a little bit shady with this sabotage, but still not a bad guy.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's about it, right?
Well, I mean, we have comments, and then we have like the last, like the ending, like the big tease at season 2. And
and also we would be absolutely remiss if we didn't mention the big Muppet cameo.
I love it. And first up, before we get to that, Dr. Teeth, like mentioning the whole I've never imagined my parents would be here in the audience.
It was very nice. Then, of course, at the end of all this, we reveal the people. Everyone's cheering except 2 people.
This is perfect, man. This is fucking perfect.
The only original Muppets to be created outside of the show, Statler and Waldorf.
It makes sense. You gotta get Statler and Waldorf in there. I mean, I think technically, so they've been in all the. Were they in Muppets Now? Did we get them in Muppets Now?
Yes, I think so.
Oh God, Dragon! They're basically the R2D2 and C3PO of the Muppets.
Exactly right, because they're even in Kermit's Swamp Years. They've been in everything.
Oh man,
it's whoa! It's sir, these aren't your seats.
I love how they're genuinely like them being kicked out is like a highlight for them. That is such a fun moment.
Yeah,
they finally did something we like. Oh! It's yeah, of course they'd be happy about that. It's hey, they kicked us out for a change. I love those guys.
Yep.
Sorry.
All right.
Okay, so comments we have. Say, I love how Zoot has subtle magical powers that he's never brought up. Yeah, the talking shoe. Oh my God.
Jerry the talking shoe.
making a dime fully. With teacher songs like that's really good, Dave.
You think maybe it's the Jedi?
Possibly.
We need a Muppet Star Wars.
Yes, we do, Jacob. Yes, we absolutely.
Well, we
do.
Kind
I've been vouching for that for a long time.
Well, we've kind of gotten Muppet Star Wars.
Well, we got Muppets Star Wars / Pigs in Space.
That's what I'm saying.
Dragon, I'm saying we need a full-blown Blue Harvest style Muppet Star Wars.
Well, of course we do, but it's pie in the sky, man.
And of course, Darth Nader.
Darth Nader. Who?
Right. Who could it possibly be?
The world will never know.
All right.
So Z and K just kind of singing the praises of the bus coming back.
Yeah.
Says he likes how one of the windows of the shack has the same stained glass window as the Muppet movies church. Right. And then
reads the screenplay.
Their cameo in this did remind me of the scene in Kermit's Swamp Years.
You remember that cameo, don't you?
I actually don't think I've ever watched Kermit's Swamp Years.
Oh, get out of here! Really, never?
I don't think so. No.
Man, there's this beautiful mini cameo. It's not an actual cameo, but it's a loving nod to Jim Henson in that movie. I love it. I love that scene. But yeah, the sad world during the movie theater when Kermit's falling in love with the movies and they're criticizing the movie.
Also, I like how Kermit gets name dropped at the end, but they totally resist the temptation to actually have him.
Yeah.
Kermit's going to dig it.
Okay, so final thoughts, guys.
Well, again, so our ending is there's money hidden on the tour bus, and they're about to go on a road trip for season 2, but the bus breaks down. Which I think is like the perfect note for them, by the way. Of course, the bus breaks down. It's a perfect note.
Disney Plus is gonna love this.
Also, I love it's like a budgetary thing. Like, hey, maybe we aren't gonna like go all over the place.
Right.
It's like, that is like I love how she puts it like that is illegal, but awesome. Which is true.
I almost kind of got like a Fury Road vibe with Animal up on top of the van with the speakers.
What a wonderful day!
All right. Now, final thoughts.
All right,
Yeah, go on, Jacob. You start.
Okay.
And get the thing off.
Okay.
Okay, so as I said, I kind of like I didn't know what to expect going into this. I mean, like I'm not a major music guy myself, but I do listen to some. But I mean, I'm kind of botching this, but like I've never called myself like a hardcore music fan, but I always did like to see more of the Electric Mayhem because I always did find them be an interesting member of the Muppets that didn't get really explored up. Except with the exception of Animal, due to his like kind of like due to his overall popularity. But overall, I think if we get more Muppet stuff, like focusing on like these other side characters and things like that, this would be a good jumping off point for that. I kind of like that, like how they incorporated how the style of this show, of course, and everything. Like, I think if this is a sign of the franchise going forward, I think this is a good step up.
Dragon?
Yeah, I have newfound. I mean, there's always like an enjoyment when the Electric Mayhem is incorporated into Muppet stuff. But seeing him on full display here, seeing them carry their own show, I got newfound respect for him. Man, I think they did a great job. I'm blown away by I kind of concur with Tiki. Episodes 5 through 7 really are the standout. I mean, 3 is also good, but 5 through 7 very much very concrete storytelling, good stuff here. Again, I think Bill Beretta and Adam F. Goldberg did a phenomenal job with this. I want to see Bill Beretta involved in more Muppet stuff going forward. I got to be honest, because I assume he was also involved. I know he was there for it, but I wonder if he was involved behind the scenes for Muppet Haunted Mansion with Kirk Thatcher.
He was one of the. I think he was one of the writers of that.
Well, I think if that's the case, I like Bill Beretta being involved as being one of the voices, like on staff there. So I want to keep that going. In general, guys, we need more Muppet stuff. Okay, we just do, because
I mean, heck, Bill Beretta was like one of the writers of Haunted Mansion. I think he was like one of the producers behind it too.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, we need more Muppet stuff, period. Okay, we got to keep trying with Muppets, because sometimes you're going to get stuff like this, which is great, and sometimes you're going to stuff these Muppets now, which we can't be discouraged by a success or a failure. We got to keep it going. We got to keep trying stuff, because that's how Henson would have wanted.
Yeah. Okay, I'm a little bit remiss to even bring this comment up because we're going a little bit over time here, but Sam, the answer is Sam. So if this proves that we can have a Muppet solo spotlight series, which Muppet would like to see next, Sam?
Welcome back to this edition of Everything Stinks.
Yeah, just give me a political satire starring Sam. That's all I want.
Part of me wants to say Uncle Deadly, but I mean, I think the real answer would be Gonzo.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think we could do it for like a Mount Rushmore Muppet, if you will.
Well, I'm not saying we go like 10 episodes with Gonzo. I'm saying always give him like I don't know.
We did give him Haunted Mansion, which was
yeah. I mean, I'm saying the appeal of this series in particular was kind of like getting new layers to characters. So it's like I feel like Gonzo, we've already like really explored a lot of his character.
Yeah, I think Jacob made a good point there. We just give him Haunted Mansion. He does he does like whole Muppet movie centered around him. So you know what, you guys are actually right. So Uncle Deadly's a fun one.
Sweetums.
I think
just go with my whole WandaVision thing and just make him just randomly like he's the only Muppet in just dead ass middle of suburbia America. Anyways.
Okay.
All right. Okay, well, yeah, that's about it. Big thanks to Z and K Claude Karinga, Theme Park Priest, popped in for a brief cameo.
Richard's victims.
Richard's Victims and Slasher Fred. You guys are all awesome. Z and K, thanks a lot for your engagement. Claude, really, really fucking happy to see you, dude. Like, you don't even know. I have been like, it's been kind of torture knowing that I accidentally kicked you out. So I'm so glad to see you back. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. All right.
All right.
Well, that'll do it for us this week as we holster our remotes till the next installment calls for the draw. Mano y mano. Just Plus and us.
We're going to get plusified.
Come on in, grab a bib.
Right away.